Warning! I heard some spoilers right there on the internet the other day about KOF. It's already bad enough I gotta have y'all spoiling my favorite TV shows on the internet, but now one of my favorite games? I don't want to hear about it, and I'm pretty sure there's other people that'll agree with me too. So don't go putting in the comments, you hear? Or I'ma ban you. Even though this ain't my freaking channel. Stop spoiling stuff. Freaking stupid young people and newfangled technology doohickeys always ruining everything. That's why the world's in the shape it is in today.
I actually had this topic on a bucket list of other KOF 15 related videos, but around the time I intended to delve into it, business picked up and I got distracted. A few days ago, another fighting game content creator did a short stream about it and reminded me of said bucket listed topic. You see the title, thus you know who it is and what topic I'm talking about. Special shoutouts to Onyxe Blade for the indirect reminder. I'll link his video discussing the topic in the description below. With that being said, where are the newcomers in KOF 15? Do I have the answers? No. Do I have some ideas, theories, or predictions? Yes! Before we dive into this, I want to clarify what I mean when I say newcomers. I'm talking about characters whose very first game appearance was in a KOF game. So while Rock Howard and Nakoruru finally made playable appearances in 14, they don't count because they were in other games beforehand. If you want the TLDR version, the biggest reason why I think we haven't seen any new characters for KOF 15 is because there aren't going to be many on the main roster. I arrived at this prediction due to a certain pattern of sorts that I've noticed with a couple of other fighting game franchises. Let's take Mortal Kombat for example. If you were to ask fans what they consider to be the dark age of this franchise, most will point to the 2000s 3D era. One of several reasons for that is dissatisfaction with most of the newly introduced characters. 10 of the 23 characters in the Deadly Alliance roster were new. In Deception, 8 out of 26 of the characters on the roster were new. Finally, with Armageddon and its huge ensemble roster of 62, there were only 2 new characters. Fast forward to MK9, the first game of the 2010s and the game often considered to be the best in the franchise, there were more guest characters than fresh new characters. A majority of the playable cast were characters from the first 3 games, which are much more lauded than the 2000 era games. It seemed that NetherRealm Studios couldn't deny that much of the characters from that era weren't all that popular. Though cameos and passing mentions of the 2000s era characters have been peppered throughout the series from MK9 onwards, only one such character continued to make playable appearances and become a key character in the rebooted storyline. That character? Kenshi, whom is considered by many as the best new character from that era. Soul Calibur had a situation like this as well. Most of the new characters who made their playable debuts in Soul Calibur 5, particularly the Calibur kids, proved to be generally unpopular with fans. All new characters were immediately dropped and absent from Soul Calibur 6's roster. Instead, the roster was stacked with longtime fan favorites, 2 new characters, and 3 guest characters. Similar to KOF, both of the aforementioned games also had some misses when it came to pushing new protagonists. Mortal Kombat's first misfire came in Deception with the debuting Shujinko. Ed Boon thought Shujinko would be the second coming next generation version of Liu Kang. And I don't care that you gave him a name that means protagonist in Japanese, Mr. Boon. That claim of yours is comedy. It didn't get better in Armageddon with the arrival of Taven. You know, my Shattering Podcast co-host hates it when I dunk on Gongil. He loves him. I think he's the most boring character in KOF 14. Perhaps Old Siren can rest a little bit better knowing that I think Taven is even more boring than that. It's such a shame because Armageddon's Conquest mode was pretty good. Then with Soul Calibur, Patroclus. Just Patroclus. If you ask me, while Shune is arguably KOF's most unpopular protagonist, these guys make him look like Terry Bogard. There, I said it. There you go, Shuichi. I finally said something nice about Shune for once. So with all this talk about the rocky parts of MK and Soul Calibur's run, what does that have to do with the alleged lack of new characters in KOF 15, you may ask? The point is, when fighting game devs get a bit too ambitious with adding new characters to a roster and it doesn't really pay off, they usually revert back to the stalwart, old reliable characters. When it comes to the roster composition in the most recent KOF games, 14 has the most newcomers with 15. Of these newcomers, the majority of them arguably weren't that well received. No official SNK KOF character poll consisting of all the characters in the series as of KOF 14 exists. The fact they didn't do an official poll before KOF 15 got revealed baffles me. They've done it before with Samurai Showdown, and SNK used that poll as something of a loose guide to determine future DLC characters. The closest thing we have to a KOF character poll is one that was apparently initiated by an SNK community manager. This poll consisted of all the characters on 14's playable roster and apparently allowed users to cast a single vote for as many characters as they wanted. Unfortunately, at the time of me recording this, the VOD for this stream where the votes were counted is lost. However, when it was up, a group of viewers apparently went through it, wrote down the results, and posted them to Reddit. I want to repeat and emphasize that this is the closest thing we have to the most recent KOF character poll. I've searched thoroughly for others, but only found immensely dated ones. So take this particular one however you choose to. If by chance the numbers are off, I don't think it's by much. If you look at this poll, we don't see a newcomer until the number 20 spot, which is held by Luong. Event Hubs also has character popularity statistics with a pool of 809 users that play KOF 14. Similar to the previous poll mentioned, Luong is the highest ranked newcomer, and both polls have Terry Bogard in the number 1 spot. Surprise! There are many other fan-made polls out there, most of them lack the engagement of the previous 2 polls. It's also worth noting that with the exception of Shune and Meiten-kun, whose returns were clearly guaranteed, the first 14 newcomers return that SNK confirmed for 15 was Luong. Clearly SNK sees something in Luong, and she does seem to be pretty popular judging by the comments on her reveal video. At the time of recording, Antonov is the only fresh 14 newcomer that has been confirmed for 15. Before you get at me, I didn't forget KOD, but he is an odd case seeing he's the same person with a different persona. If you ask me, it's not a matter of him returning that piqued my curiosity, but more the fact that he didn't revert back to his old persona. The lack of a super solid poll makes it difficult to accurately pinpoint overall fan reception to these characters. I could search many blogs and comment sections all around the web, but even I know that all of KOF 14's newcomers, even the ones that I personally think are trash, are bound to have admirers. When it comes to character inclusion, SNK does tend to listen to the fans. At this point, I'm sure you all know about KOF 12 and No Mai No Bai. KOF 13 clearly showed that SNK not only listened to fans when it came to previously excluded characters like Mai and K-Dash, but apparently got the coldest of feet when adding new characters, as Psyche was the sole fresh new face on the roster. I can confidently say that overall, KOF 14's batch of newcomers was polarizing at the very best and worst. Seeing he's the current main protagonist, Shune is really the only newcomer that SNK is insistent on pushing, despite his lukewarm fan reception. 14 not only had a bunch of new characters, but a bunch of new character teams, some of which also proved to be unpopular. In KOF 15, there may be a single newcomer team. Newcomers may be peppered across a few teams, or a newcomer may be a mid-boss or even this game's big bad. All in all, this is why I feel like KOF 15 is gonna possibly be a repeat of 13, with SNK drastically reducing the number of newcomers and stuffing the roster with more longtime favorites. But hey, those are just my thoughts. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, discuss it below. Once again, special thanks and shoutouts to Onyx Blade for bringing this up. Again, check out his video talking about this, link is in the description. This is Krisu, and I will catch y'all when I catch y'all. Take care, be safe out there, see ya.